Hey Bob, Dennis Feidner, CFO on the go. Hey, I'm going to take you for a real quick tour of Sage 100 here. And if I say Master Builder, that was its old name. They changed the name just like they did on Peachtree, and sometimes I revert back to my old ways. And so bear with me. So one of the things that we definitely add on top of where Peachtree kind of leaves off is this one tab right here, which is our project management and projects. So this is typically where your project manager is going to start his day out. And typically that menu on the left would be hidden. I still use it a lot, so I leave it there. But this is where you're going to get information about job, create subcontracts or whatever, find out more about them, purchase orders and change orders, RFIs, requests for information. I would imagine you do a lot of submittals too, or transmittals with your samples and what have you. We do those and track those. Hours to complete analysis and a cost to complete analysis, and some basic job reports across the bottom here. There's hundreds of them. These are just the ones that I have on my desktop. I'm going to take just a really quick look at the estimating. And the only reason I say that is I'd have to see what you guys are doing today. And I don't have a flooring, but I do if I look down towards the bottom down here. So like this is the bathroom floor. Not a big deal. But all I enter in here is that takeoff quantity that you talked about. And we do work with PlanSwift. So the PlanSwift measured quantity would come in here. It then uses this formula, this quantity right here to calculate out, I'm sorry, the square footage goes in here. This is the total cost. You put in your square foot. And then from there, we'll calculate out your cost. The other thing it's going to do for you, which hopefully this saves you some time, is you identify the vendors you're going to buy that from. And this is the cost code that we're going to send it to, and the cost type we're going to put it in. So this is automatically can go out to the budget. But if I put in the vendor and my quantities, I can come up here and export either subcontract or purchase orders automatically. And so somebody will not have to type up the purchase order to buy all of this material that we have identified on this estimate. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time. If that makes sense to you, then we can dig deeper next time we meet. But it works a lot like Excel, so people adapt to it really quickly. We can bring in your parts electronically so that you can populate it pretty quickly with all your parts and production rates. And then you start building the assemblies. And once you build one, then you model the others after it. So that's enough on estimating. So hey, project management I think is a big deal for you. I'm going to go into change orders just really quickly. I've got one filled out, save some time here. So, here's why we're doing it. We're upgrading the lighting. It's change order 900. Why we're doing it. And again, you know this, I'm sure, but you can freeze the screen anytime you want and look at all of these fields that are available. But I have 6 different levels. I have approved, which obviously is the best thing that can happen. Then it's open. Sometimes people will say, hey, I need some time to think about it. So I may want to move it to review status to keep a closer eye on it. The worst kind is where they tell you that that was included in the original plans and there's really no reason. So it goes to disputed and then void and rejected. And the reason we would do that is up here there's little binoculars. And so if I want to find all of my change orders, I'm just going to print all these here. There's not very many in here. I can actually say, hey, give me all of the ones that are rejected, right? Whoops. Let's blank that out. I'm just going to run them all. So these are all of my change orders that I've got out there. These are the ones that the clients requested. That's field requested. If I scroll down, I think that's all I have on here. Internally requested, and these we forgot to classify. So the description, what was been approved, the approved date, what was requested, and what was approved. The nice part here is, similar to Peachtree, if I want to go see this one, I can double click that and drill right back to that information. And again, I haven't used Peachtree in a couple of years, but the other nice part of this is up here in the right-hand corner, there's a little paper clip. You'll see that that one's white, which means there's something there. If it's gray, there's nothing there, but if it's white, we can start taking pictures of the job, the change conditions and attach a picture here. If there's another set of plans, we can drag and drop those plans in there. If there's an email that came in, I can drag and drop that email in here. But I can start dragging and dropping all of the history that goes along with this change order, and it's now accessible by anybody that can get to this change order. So put yourself as a project manager today, and you're on vacation for a couple of days, and I come in behind you. I don't have to get into your computer or find out what your password is to see your emails, because you would have dragged and dropped that appropriate email to this change order for us to see. So anyway, change orders work really well. I'll print you one out real quick here. Hang on a second, because that's what everybody wants to see. But obviously your logo, the nice summary down here in the bottom where it recaps from the original contract all the way through to this current change order to get us to a new value, contract value. So change orders, great. I'll close out of here. Let's see. We've got some notes here. On the accounts receivable, if I go to progress billings, I'm just going to pull one up here. Let's see if I have a... No, I don't. I thought I might have had a sub-trade, but these would be your bid items, your line items that you had on your estimate, your schedule of values, there were change orders, the new contract value, and you have a choice of either putting in here what you want to bill or coming in here and putting what percent you want to bill it. Everybody's a little different. Some people like round percentages, some people like round dollars, but you can go either way. Here's where we had some value, and that should save you a lot of time and errors, is that once I'm done here, I come in here, I'll submit this application. This one already been, but they're grayed out, but they would not be on a new one. I submit it. If they accept it, I post it to GL and receivables. The next part is I create the next application, and obviously you know what that does. It takes everything from the current column and adds it to the previous column so that the current column is blank for my next application. So that's AIA billing. Equipment management I don't think you'll need. Scheduling comes with it. So we have schedules like a Gantt chart, kind of similar to Microsoft Project. But back in project management, purchase orders, change orders we looked at. So I'm going to show you a couple of really nice job cost reports. The whip is the whip, but this is the one, when I've sat with some of our owners after they've got up and running, this seems like the report that they really like. So I'm just going to preview this real quick. It's just for one job, and I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. So bottom line here is we're looking at one job cost report. I'm looking at the original contract value. I've got 4 signed change orders, so I've now increased my contract to this, $91,000. These are all of, you call them phases, we call them cost codes. The cost code, the description, whether it's material, labor, or subcontract, the original budget, the budget with change orders, what I spend for the month, and then the total cost that's been accumulated in the system, whether it be through payroll, and it's fully burdened payroll, AP, inventory transfers, equipment charges, what have you. But the nice part is if I want to see how I spent this $2,200, I can just double click that and it'll list out exactly how I spent that $2,200, which is nice for your project managers to have access to that so they're not bugging you to find out why their job went over budget. The last thing here, and I like it, some people do, some people don't, is this last column over here is called projected cost. And so we do something really simple. We look at the budget, and it's 1,000. We haven't spent anything yet, so we're going to follow and carry that 1,000 over. Down here, we've got a bad item where we only budgeted 2,900. I've already spent 10,000, so it brings over the 10,000. This is not a forecast. It's just basically making a real simple calculation for you. And the reason our owners like it is that what they do when they look at this report, they just look at this bottom right-hand corner and they go, okay, I know I did this job with about a 10 or 15% margin, and not going to happen on this job. Now they can drill back into the detail. But if that job's showing like a $9,000 or $15,000 projected profit, then they just go on to the next job. But real quick, the other thing we do is we tell you what you billed, what you put in the bank this month, what you billed to date, what you put in the bank so far, and what's due. So this job, obviously demo data here, but about as bad as they get. $90,000 worth of work to make $500, and I'm about $29,000 upside down on my cash flow. So bad job. So anyway, but that's the report they really like. Just going to show you one more. The one I like, actually I have two that I like. I'm going to show you one. This is a real simple one. So when you went into this job, we had a bid, right? And you did an estimate to figure out what that bid would be. And somebody calculated how many hours it was going to take to do each task. Whether they're right, and typically they're not, but if they were right, and they budgeted 45 hours, then we would use 45 hours. But that never happens, or it didn't happen when I was a controller or a CFO. So this is just capturing the hours that have been entered through payroll. The only column that takes data entry is this column here where it says, hey, what % complete are you on this task at the end of the week? I mean, I'm just going to make this a bad job, and I'm going to say I'm 65% complete. Just like Excel, I'm going to recalculate this thing. So what does this tell me? It says I budgeted 25 hours. I've used 28. I'm only 65% complete, which means I need another 15 hours to finish it, and I'm going to be 18 hours over budget. Great report. I can't screw anything up. This is another report that your project managers ought to be looking at every week to see how they're doing on each of their tasks and what hours they have left. Anyway, I told you I'd do this in 10 minutes, and I think I went a little over. So if this stuff makes sense, let's just sit down and pick a half hour one day, maybe 45 minutes, grab a couple other people maybe that make sense, maybe a project manager, and let's just dive into the actual program. You can ask me any question you want, and I'll try and answer it. Anyway, have a great weekend. Again, my name's Dennis, and my phone number will be all over the email. Thanks a lot.